Ask when Ali frees up. Can you ask him to help you with that? All right, welcome back, Richmond. Guys. All right, we're back on. We're back on. So take your start positions. All right, so let's go back. This is worth taking a few minutes to take. This is worth taking a few minutes to look over. No problem. All the stuff that that just happened here. That the scaffold generated for us. Obviously, we already saw the kind of the cool parts. That it just by creating a table, it gave us all that functionality, all ready to readily built on the app itself. So now let's try to kind of dig in and dig through. First of all, let's look at this this schema file. What's the first thing that you notice? What jumps out at you?
It's in the DB folder.
Okay. There it is. Yes, it is in the DB folder, and that's where all your along with all the migration files. That's where migrate files. That's where it will go. Something else.
That's where it is.
Say it again.
It's like a single column.
I want Ali to answer that because it has a technical. It's better if it's worded correctly. What is the two colons in between active record and schema? And stay here so they can hear you as well in Richmond.
So, what do the two colons mean?
It's like a single colon in Angular when you're no.
So
Okay.
active record, colon schema. Colon is what is schema? You think? What is schema? Just schema by itself.
It's a design or a layout.
You know all the building blocks of code. I have full confidence in you as full stack developers. What do you think schema is? It's a class. It's a class.
Oh, okay.
So where do classes live? In C#, where do classes live?
In methods, in the functions. Sorry.
You always have these in C# too. Where do they live? There's a word, it starts with an N. A namespace.
Yes.
Namespace. So active record is a namespace. So you've got a class that lives in a namespace. That's all it is. So it's not your namespace. It's a package. It's a class library, kind of. But they don't call them class libraries in Ruby. It's a package. It's a gem. So you're saying, I'm talking about this class in that gem. It's a namespace.
Thank you. All right, so that was good as well, but I'm thinking about something else, something more trivial, something more like I didn't make those. Yep, I just got those for free, and I think I got a. Let's see. So, and I got an ID for free as well. All right, so
Can we go back? So the null, colon, false, that's the same that they can be null or they cannot?
they cannot. The question was the null colon false. Does that mean that they can or cannot be false? They cannot be false. I mean, they cannot be null. All right. So what else? What else did we notice that it created for us? We already looked at in the routes. It was established as a resource, and that I think in itself it generated all those views that if it's a resource, if it's a table, then it needs all of sorry. Come on. Then it needs all these things. Yeah, beers. All that got generated for us when we created that single table. So we already talked about what is ERB?
Ruby.
Embedded Ruby. Yep. And this is what it looks like. So this is our form. It looks very familiar, and then there's these weird. What did I call them? Alligator brackets. Yep. And but other than that, this should look pretty familiar, right? All right. So what else did we get here? We get the same thing for edit. Just already created a page for you with a form. This is how you're going to edit them. Index. How you're gonna display it. Now, curious. I didn't see it there because I guess it's just a given. But if how would you add if you wanted to see the ID? So it did other than the two timestamps. It did also automatically give us an ID as any proper database table within an object-oriented language should. So how would you, if I wanted to see that, because I don't see that anywhere. I see this is a very simple exercise to you go ahead and add to this page, add to this index.html.erb under beers, under views. Change it so that it displays the ID as well. And yeah, you know what? Change the ID and the created at. And the other, not all of them. I guess not the modified. Just one of the two, one or the other. Modify this index.html.erb under beers to display. This is what I have right here. Oh shoot! What'd that do? Oh, I killed my terminal. So on the page, on the index page, localhost 3000 / beers. It gives us the beers that we already put in. But I also want to see the ID that Rails automatically generated for it, and I want to see one of the two dates that we already saw in schema. So you can pick whichever. It doesn't really matter. It's the same difference. I'm going to give you guys a minute head start, and then we'll jump right in. It's just a small exercise. I just want to modify this automatically generated index page, and I would like to. And this is what we display here. I just want two more columns. I want to see the ID that it generated for it, and I want to see your choice, the modified or the created date. This is well within your awesome powers. And we're going to be messing with it, so it's actually, well, again, there's no real new concepts in terms of how it interacts with the database or the ORM, but itself. But we'll see that it again, those patterns, it follows the same thing. So when you delete something, it will just skip the ID You can never have that same idea again. I don't know. If you guys can think of a better exercise, do tell me, because I'm struggling to to think of good ones. Allie, if you can think of a better exercise, then
No, that's good.
okay.
Frustrating about this, even if it happens with
IntelliSense? Yeah, I guess it. Is there, Allie, do you know if there's an extension that does something like IntelliSense for Ruby? Apparently Scott is overwhelmed with the amount of typing that Ruby requires.
It's like, C# developer, you're banished from here.
No, IntelliSense is awesome. IntelliSense is very, very tough to beat, and
very related program behind it too.
but exactly. But this is it definitely has other advantages. I don't know. I mean, somebody who's already done with the exercise, just look up
Extension.
Ruby extensions.
Yeah,
All right.
there's one with almost 1 million users, so I'm thinking that
What
one's
is it called?
really good. It's called Ruby.
Ruby.
Just type in
I
Ruby
should
and
know
then
that.
More bottom topics.
There's
Even if it exists, Ruby is a dynamic language. JavaScript and Ruby, you're not going to get the help you're looking for.
yeah, it's not really the same.
Because the things that you want to reference, if it has IntelliSense, those extensions will only work with things that exist when you write the code. You could, and I wasn't kidding earlier, you could write a method in code and add it to your class and instantiate it. When you do crazy things like that, IntelliSense isn't going to figure it out. It's too crazy for IntelliSense, in other words.
All right. I get it does, yeah. I guess in HTML, it doesn't really do anything beyond that. I don't know. Some people, never happy. All right. So, who's done? Just to make sure that you weren't. I mean, this is, as I said, this was a very basic. While I'm typing, can somebody, Allie, you pick somebody who's going to be narrating my what I'm doing here, and Harper, you do the same thing in Richmond. It's
Which line did you hit?
whatever I'm doing or whatever I have done. It's completely up to you.
19, you have creating a table based on the items of beers.
It's an object. So what are the variables attached to an object called? Properties.
So each table will be a property of beer. Very true.
That's what I asked for. What was it called?
That's why I wanted the IntelliSense.
Well, this you could call anything, but let's see. It did pop in the when you go beer dot Nothing came up until, I don't know, that's the closest thing I've seen to it. It's
nothing more than a TV balance.
it is a tease. It is just a tease. Yeah, it is not the real IntelliSense for sure. It's and this is how developers get separated. Like to some people, this is magic, and it's worth the headaches that come with the loosely typed nature of it. And to others, IntelliSense in and of itself is just reason enough never to look at anything other than C#. Created it. Let's do updated. Let's do updated that. So percentage. Yeah, no, it's not. Elevated, was it underscore?
Well, just one minute. Maybe, did you do it before you destroyed it? You're supposed to do it after you create that business. I'll just try to break it all. Oh, also, we need to.
All right. Hopefully everybody's there. Let us do something something different. Oh yeah, we're gonna. I don't know if we'll get to. We'll try to pull in. There's a bunch of cool gems, including one for Bootstrap. So yeah, because now it's doing all this stuff for us. Why not have it pretty itself up too, without us having to do too much with it. So, but right now I wanted to show something in Active Record, and I think let's see. All right. So Rails console, and let's see. Oh, what do we have here? Active Record. Sorry? Yeah, probably. Probably not a bad idea. I mean, you can if you. Nothing at this point is really, at least certainly nothing I can show you is going to be like that magical or that surprising. It's just this is a way to look in your database, look at your tables. Just you can manipulate it. You can get Active Record to query the database for you. And I hope Ali didn't go too far, because I'm about to go off the rails myself when I start talking about ORMs. Okay, so it gave us the one with ID 1. Same with last. But it's kind of nice that that you see how it writes the SQL for you. So just learn a few keywords, and no, I do not want to talk to you. let's see, find to, that was our Bud Light. Let's see, what else can we do with it? We can do, let's see, beer dot find by Swan. Did we have any that had that? Okay, now this is what does that remind you of? Well, actually, it says it right there in the SQL, so I can't even quiz you on it because it tells you exactly what each of those keywords are doing because it immediately puts it into SQL. Let's see. Name is. So what was the difference there? I only had one? Yeah, I guess so. But limit 11. Is Ali here? Why is it 11? Why is the limit 11? Anyway, when you did the find or find by, it will limit it to 1. So it's just going to bring you the first way. Maybe the brewery will be a better example where, because we had multiple. And we had multiple Budweisers. There you go. Okay. So it finds multiple ones. We can add. We can. Do you guys want to see any of that? Stop it. Somebody. I had like 20 missed calls during the last session. Let's see. There's. I was going to ask you, why is this 11? Do you know? If you use where in active record?
Because Ruby has an opinionated view of the world. And they know that unbounded queries against your database are a bad idea. So any given human probably only cares about the first X number of rows because we lose interest after that. So by default, they say, I'm going to force you into a mentality of paging.
Okay, but it's just a strange choice to pick 11. Unless they are big, what is that movie? Spinal Tap fans, yeah. It's which actually would explain it. Because we're going to dial our queries to 11. All right, so what else do we want to show here? Brew beer.new. And again, just Ali, pick somebody narrate what I'm doing.
Oh.
And Harper, do the same thing.
What's going on what he's typing right now? What is the .new?
Yes.
Exactly. He's creating a new instance, and he's putting it into a variable. What's
and in
the name of the
this
variable?
case,
brew.
And in this case, what is an instance? There's a new.
What's the type? Beer.
And that's weird. So everything's nil, which normally that would be an issue, like especially right here, right? Except, because Scott, were you the one who pointed out? Yes, you were the one who asked the question. There's two additional columns. There's two additional.
The nil false.
Was it nil?
Or no, false.
Because Harper was talking about nil earlier.
This is one thing you'll find in Ruby. There's a lot of magic. So if we were to save that to the database, do you think it's going to remain created at and updated out of nil? No.
Well,
It's not on the database. There's some code. When you did the scaffolding, they added they sprinkled all the little magic. You got the Ruby fairies helping you out. So they have code that knows, oh, you got a nil, it's created at. Remember you said timestamps? If you go take a look at your model and your migration.
It's in the schema.
Yeah, so it's null false, which is true. Yeah, you're never going to have nulls that are allowed.
But
Timestamps that's Ruby code. That's where they hide lots of magic.
I didn't do it.
I don't particularly care for magic, which is why I don't particularly care for Ruby. Because if the magic ever goes bad,
But it doesn't.
it goes bad sometimes.
I know. It does. All right. So what did we want to do here? We wanted to. We created brew and now we need to just start filling it up. So, oops, that's not what we want to do. Not where we want to do it. So give me another brew, Allie.
Or you want to? Well, you didn't do anything with that one.
Hmm.
Oh, you're going to set the properties now?
Sure.
Okay. Stone.
All right. Is stone.
Could you have used single quotes there? I'm going to sit here and heckle you.
Could I have used just? I'm just going to pass the buck right on. But yes, I could have.
Does anybody know the difference between single and double quotes? What is the same?
One little quote.
One looks like one little apostrophe, right?
I'm sorry.
Two, actually.
That's not what you were asking.
So they're equivalent in most cases. What does double quote do? Think of double quote as being a little bit more powerful than single quotes in Ruby. Yes. Ruby will interpolate any little hash.
For
code
Richmond,
braces.
that it can do doubles can do string interpolation.
And single quotes takes it exactly as is.
Single quotes do.
If you have a single quote embedded.
So who's that from?
Ruby. I think I missed
There is some Monty Python funny going on in the background, which is much appreciated by me. All right, so I don't know what that is. So we're just gonna do stone, and then we need a price.
550.
So why did you put a single quote on?
They're interchangeable for the most part, but
For
if you
here.
ever do a string interpolation, you need to use double quotes because single quotes takes that's a string. We'll take it as is.
All right, so do we have a new brew in our database? And why would I ask if we did?
This was one of the good things in the database.
Yes, that's why would I ask if we did?
Because you're still in IOV and not.
And then double quotes. And then made it a string. And then I just easily did 550 without it. And it's like,
It's loose. Whatever.
There it is. There's the sequel. Yeah, there was no sequel. I was just setting stuff, but it could have been anything. It could have had nothing to do with my table. It
Where
doesn't.
did the 2018, 07, 19, 19, 29, 14 come from?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it's
All right.
Ruby magic. It's in the ORM. It knows.
That's because he put last update in there. So it kind of.
It wouldn't do that for you in C#. You can error. Cannot add a record that's because created at and updated at are not null.
So once you hit here, save, that saves what you just.
Allie just gave me a look like, what on earth are you thinking?
I'm
Yes.
sorry, what was your question?
Hit loop save, you just save it.
Yeah, save just saves the record. It generates the sequel, sends to the database, confirms that it's good.
All right, so don't do that. Don't do what I just did. But it's there and it's easy. You remember the Rails doctrine? one of them was sharp knives. You have them. You have them just like in SQL Server. You have some sharp knives.
There's no undo button.
Yeah, there's no undo button. They assume that you know what you're doing and you're doing things for a reason, and so try to know what you're doing and try to do them for a reason. They do things for a reason. All right, what there's other stuff available that, and again,
what would
it's
that have done, by the way? Destroy all. If you had run it,
it would have deleted the data.
every record in the
Every record in the table, yeah. Let's see. Oh, come on. Somebody's really trying to get a hold of me. My apologies. And I'm looking at my phone for notes. I'm telling Richmond why I'm let's see. What did I? Oh, I wanted to look at average price. What is that? What is that? Somebody? What is it? Just what is it called? It's not an enum. It's a what? Symbol. That's right. All right. And so what? I mean, there's a yeah. IntelliSense would be helpful because we could scroll up and down on all the various options that are available. But you guys get the idea. Say again.
It wrote a group by query with 2 words.
Yes. Okay. So Ali, just in case you didn't hear it, Ali just pointed out the beauty of what I glossed over, which is it wrote a group by query. We got it to write a group by query by putting in 2 words. And so,
What is that number? What do you think that number is? 0.15149.
That's the average, which just has a little e, which means it's a e1. That means that you multiply it by 10. Everything past the e is how many things you multiply it by, or how many decimals you multiply.
So in English, what is the average price?
$1.51.
Did you know that the next version of Ruby is coming out this Christmas?
Didn't know that.
huh? Somebody just looked up the next version of Ruby is coming. Ruby or Rails?
Ruby.
Ruby.
And then 3.0 will come out in 2020.
Is coming out this Christmas. You said. All right, so we'll have to wait and see if you have to if you're going to be able to use any of this. Because again, going back to one of those Rails doctrines. What was it called exactly? Let's pull it up. Yes.
The progress over
Progress over
stability.
That's right. Progress over right there. Progress over stability.
It's better. They don't care if it's
If it is better, then y'all on your own. Because we are moving on. I don't care how many projects you completed. I don't care how many applications you have out there running. We are marching on. And that that appeals to a lot of people. That appeals to a lot of developers who do want to keep going back and making sure that that everything that they built is that it doesn't go stale. They are they are not very busy developers, but they are out there. Let's see. No. That was kind of it was a joke. That's what they were saying about the great migration of whatever 2 point something to something else, and the scar tissue that is still it can happen, and it has happened, and it's possible. I mean, you would hope that they are past really big, earth shattering things like that, but I mean, look at Angular. They when was that? JS to
4 years ago.
4 years ago. They just ripped it up, and well, they didn't rip it up. They just
Version 1 of Angular was AngularJS. Version 2, they shouldn't even call it version 2. Was completely
it was a complete yeah.
And it's not backwards compatible. You can't port your code. Essentially, learn this new language.
So yeah, it can happen. I mean, hopefully it won't, but it can. But the good news is that what is their number one doctrine? Programmer happiness. Exactly. So chances are whatever they come out with in a new version, it's going to be built to make you even happier with Ruby than you already were. I mean, that granted, it's still going to create some scar tissue, but all right. So let's get into gems a little bit. Somebody real quick repeat it because I already forgot what that is. What a gem is. I am getting older. I'm hard of hearing. So somebody yell it.
Jim's a library.
Library. And so let's look at a couple of cool ones. And I wanted to Harper, you are the best suited person for this. If you have a good resource that has a list of the best libraries or most frequently used libraries out there, please please throw it in Slack. It will be as beneficial to me as everybody else. Otherwise, you can always go to rubygems.org, and they will. I think they have more. I don't know if they sorted there, and if they have they might have more in-depth descriptions. But let's look at. Let's see. I have one here. Like there's a couple of one. There's one called Devise, and I want to do that first because if you thought scaffolding a table and then it generating all that stuff for you was cool, you ain't seen nothing yet. But I don't. I mean, it was like 3 o'clock. Is Ellie still here? Somebody grab me because it was like 3 o'clock in the morning when I messed with this. So I may very well be in need of some serious assistance. All right. So everybody, make sure everything is saved. Make sure you're out of the. Make sure you're out of the console, out of the Active Record console. Console. And let's see. Don't know what this is. Okay, so just type this in. Rails G. Surprise there. Rails G. Devise. Install. And let it rip. Devise. Yeah, okay, what happened here? Oh, maybe test unit. Okay, what did I miss? What did I miss? Oh! Did I miss?
Device or devise?
Devise, as in, well, okay, ESL, remember, English is my second language, so do not rely on my, as I've been here for a while, my accent is not very strong, but do not rely on what you hear. It's with an S, S-E. That I think I need to add it first to the gem file. And since since Ali is gone, I may need like Harper on the phone. And they're not gonna let me pass the torch, but let's see. All right, so yeah. I think I needed to add it here first. So we briefly mentioned what this gem file is. Right here, it's just like it sounds. It is full of gems. So I think if I just add gem. And if I now try to run this, it's promising. Nope, I spoke too soon. Find gem. All right, bear with me, guys. Ah, that could be it. That could be it. I may not have saved it. And if that didn't do the trick, then I'm going to phone a friend. Ah, that was it. I forgot to save it.
So what was the first thing?
I forgot to save it. So the first thing is go to the gem file and add
Gem divide.
gem device. Where were you when I needed you?
Out of the room on purpose.
Yeah, probably.
Where did you put it in this?
Just put it in the bottom. It's drop it anywhere in there.
You solved
It's
your own
prop. Sorry,
Solve your own problem.
I did. It was not actually Sasha solved it for me. I forgot to save it. Well, the first one I solved for myself, and then when it still didn't work, and I was about to phone a friend, she came to the rescue because I just forgot to save the gem file. All right, so yeah, just gem file. Drop it in anywhere. It's probably, I do not know this for a fact, but it's probably a good rule of thumb or practice or convention to put them at the bottom and kind of group them together so that the ones that, so you know which are the ones that you added to the file. But I would be surprised if Ruby, or I mean if Rails cared about the order. Does it care about the order at all?
I don't think so.
No, it's so yeah. You can put it wherever you want, but I would just start stacking them at the bottom. All right. So what happened here? Yeah, I may need your help because it was like 3 a.m. when I was messing with Devise, but I told them that if they thought it was neat or even cool that it generated all those based on generating one table, it gave them all those options, then this will blow them away. All right, so and the command here was Rails generate G devise. Oh no, colon. Wait, install colon install. Yeah.
Okay, so mine.
Right there, right there. I would be happy to.
Was there one after that?
Actually, can somebody type it into Slack? Thank you. Say it again.
Was there one that you made after that?
No. It's saved. Make sure that you save the gem file. So after you modify it, make sure that you save it.
So I got could not find it, install, and it said to run the bundle, install the bundle, and I did, and it put devise. Excuse me, when it put devise in there, there was a part of the bundle.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, actually, bundle install.
Yeah, just do bundle install and then run that command it works.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. For Richmond, okay, run bundle install. Hopefully, I mean, Harper probably is way ahead of me on it, but yeah, run bundle install and then.
So step by step, it's add this to your gem file, gem devise.
Yep.
Bundle space install on the command line, and then that
While
other.
we're at it.
Then do the other one.
What bundler does, it looks at your gem file and says, "I'm going to make sure you have all these things."
Yes, and I actually was going to run bundler when I put all these things in there all at once, and it's going to. And we're not going to get to these, but as far as I know, and Harper may have already put something in Slack with suggestions that are better. These are some very popular ones that that you may come across, and let's assume without any basis let's assume I have no idea what I'm doing. So if somebody's already got their device installed, go and pick any one of these and find out how would one go about figuring out how to wire it up. Are there any resources out there that would help you wire up one of these gems, whichever one you want? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. I mean, there's some names here that should seem familiar, so you know You know why anyone would want to implement them?
Make life extraordinarily easier. jQuery strap, font awesome. These are all big libraries we used for front end,
Okay, so
which is usually the tough part. When it comes to, like, stuff.
yeah, because even though we haven't typed anything, so we haven't really had to work for it, it's still kind of a bummer that everything's so ugly. So
Just glossed over it. Scroll up.
what?
See what it. Make that window bigger. He just.
Oh yeah, so I typed in these gems in the gem file. Did I even save it?
You did, and you ran it. It's like you're talking with Scott, and it's like you're actually building your
Oh,
apps.
yeah, while we were talking, this happened.
What was the command?
The command was bundle install. Yeah, all of that.
So it
all of that
installed
happened.
once you ran it again.
Bundle install. Bundle install, as Ali said, bundle install looks at the gem file and compares it to all the stuff that's already installed. And if it sees that you're now in need of new stuff, then it just goes out and gets them for you. All right, so I guess the first one should be. Let's see. This is. Rails, G, devise. Okay, let's go to devise because I think I have the steps on that one, and then by the time we're done with it, if
Show the command that helps them generate the device stuff again.
did somebody did somebody please type it into Slack because I can't copy and paste for some reason out of code in the virtual machine, in the virtual Windows machine. It just doesn't work. It works inside Windows, but I guess I could open up Slack inside Windows. Anyway, it doesn't work across to. All right, so we're back in here. And so what is this? Because some of these, yeah, it's obvious and you're familiar with it. Carrier wave allows you to upload things. It's I think it's mostly images. And then the rest should all be front end. And again, hopefully, I mean, in Richmond, I might already stand corrected. Do you know if paperclip is something else? Can somebody please look it up? Use Google Powers. Google Power Activate.
I think paperclip is for attachments.
That could be it. Active record is the namespace. Schema is the class. That was from 2 hours ago. Yeah. So okay, no new information. Harper, if you're listening, chime in if I misspoke about those gems. Anyway, okay. So did you want me to show anything else?
Could you have somebody explain a method? Pull up a method. Do you have a method that returns something?
Let's see.
And I have an ulterior motive here.
Other than the only one I can think of is. Hold on, let me save everything. The only one I can think of is wild. Yeah.
That's a bad one.
That's a bad one?
Well, go ahead and open that up and add another method to it.
Alright.
That performs addition or something.
Okay, somebody.
Well, if I took this code to a Ruby conference, I would be immediately invited to leave. Number one, I have improperly formatted my code. What do you think they would complain about? Scroll to the top.
Okay, so.
It's not all in one line.
Good guess.
In case you didn't hear that, the guess at what Ali did wrong and why would he be chased away from a Ruby conference was that all of this code is not in one line.
No, it's go to line 2. How many spaces do I have before the margin?
Goodness.
How many spaces? Is that one?
It's just one space.
That's horrible. Shame on me.
It's, what is it? Space versus tab.
Always two spaces.
I
There was
thought it
actually
always
almost
tab.
a fist fight at the Ruby conference. Like, there was one guy who said tabs. Like, the guy almost stood up and smacked him. It was like,
It's not tabs.
always. It's not one space. It's not two spaces. It's not two tabs. It's not three spaces. It's two spaces.
Oh my God. Okay, I've been doing tabs all this time, which is not that long, but still. Actually, wait, a tab, it automatically, if you do tab, you see,
That's your editor.
it helps you. It's the editor helping you. If I do tab, it actually automatically puts in two spaces. Ha!
They're serious.
They are serious. Ha! A fist fight? That is,
They're awfully serious about something like that for people who are going convention over. I mean,
Convention over configuration. So that's
convention
convention. You
over
gotta follow the
configuration.
convention.
What is the, did I
If you don't
put
like
that
it,
end
go
in
find
there?
another language.
Did I put that end in there by
that's
accident?
only
You're
Ruby
creating a new
convention,
method.
though.
I wanted to show how you return something from a method. We haven't seen any methods that return anything.
We haven't seen anything because we haven't had to write anything. You see, we have to go out of our way and open up brand new files and actually do meaningless stuff just so we can show some code because everything else Rails writes for you. Hey, that's an exaggeration, but it's a funny one, a fun one.
Good sales job. So
All right.
don't you do it because you know Ruby. They've seen Ruby for like 3 or 4 hours now. So you're helping them too much.
I know it. Editor did that on its own. I didn't do nothing.
Okay. Dave,
Yeah.
can you dictate a method that will add 2 numbers and return the result? Tell him what to type.
Okay.
We're going to do this together. You've never seen a Ruby method that returns something. So you're probably going to get it wrong. We're just going to go around until we all figure it out. Because you'll remember it that way.
Okay, wait. Let's see.
So let's call it add 2 numbers.
I may have actually one. I don't know. Go ahead. Add 2 numbers.
Dave,
So then we need puts.
Well,
Nope.
we're
puts
not
will right
there
to the
yet.
screen.
Oh.
So def does what? That says function. It's like function in JavaScript. And then we have the name of the method. The name of the method is
So then we just need like any 2 numbers. I mean, any 2 numbers, restricted number, right?
2 parameters.
Just What's the name of it?
There's a lot of help. There's a lot of help for
Stevenson.
you right above it.
So the first thing we need is
Add method name. Add
Yep.
2 numbers.
the method name. I thought we did that.
Add underscore two.
No, add 2
underscore
numbers. Now, what's the right way to do it in Ruby?
Add underscore
There's a right and a wrong.
underscore number.
Shouldn't we make it Pascal case?
No.
Absolutely not. That's the only right way.
Unless you want to get slashed.
Yes.
Or fist fight.
Yes.
You
Now,
get shot. You won't even get to a fist fight.
We can do parentheses
yes.
after that.
Yes.
Then you have your
In C#, how do you define a parameter?
Oh,
You have 2 things, right? What comes first in C#?
your variable.
The type, and then you have the name, right?
Right. But we do
In-
integers.
In Ruby, do they care about types?
No, we don't. So you can just type in a number.
Well, you have 2 parameters. We're going to have like a number 1 and number 2. You can name it whatever you want, the parameters.
So x equals.
X and Y, whatever you want. How do you separate your parameters, you think?
It's a space equal. It's actually a lambda, isn't it?
Oh, we're not doing a lambda. You're jumping way ahead.
Oh, okay.
Comma.
Comma. Y.
Okay. What about the return type? Don't we have to say the return type?
No. No.
No, we're in Ruby.
Why do we not have to? Exactly. Who's going to figure it out for us? Ruby will. I'm going to make that a chant by the end of the day. Who's going to
So how do
figure
we
it out
add 2
for
numbers?
us? Ruby will. Who's going to write it for us? Ruby will.
Ruby's gonna write for us.
X plus Y. Do we have to return it?
X plus or equal?
No.
X plus Y.
Do we have to return the result like in C#?
No, you don't. So
How does it know what to send back?
doesn't it do it automatically?
Ruby doesn't.
Ruby does.
Ruby will. Ruby will.
Ruby
The,
do everything for us.
You can say return.
That's what
But
I'm gonna do.
The standard is this. The standard is the last line that is executed in a method is the return. Always. So
what will that do?
that
So
does
if
the
you
same
put
thing.
No. It does the same thing, but it also gets you murdered
the-
at a Ruby conference.
Okay, so then below that, then you would have to, if you want to see.
Yeah, actually,
what
you
it's
quote that.
puts,
Since you started that conversation, go down. Go
Next
down
line.
and call that.
Next line down.
No, not fixed line. Remember, it's an object definition. We're in a class there. You can go up underneath line 22 there. Or delete those spaces down so he can have that instance at least.
Okay.
So after line 20 now, you wanted us to use that. What's the point of creating a method? Is that method ever going to run right now? No.
Not yet. 'Cause we have to
Okay,
call it.
so
The technical term for calling or running a method, you're going to hear this by other developers. It starts with an I.
Instantiate.
Nope.
No.
That's what you do to objects. That's for classes. A method or a function, you invoke. Invoke.
Hmm.
Okay? So line 21.
Need more
No, after
space.
line. So you got to instantiate it. You have to have a W. You have to have an object variable to be able to talk to about a method, right? So you have to have W. It has to be after you create W. Yeah,
Okay, who's dictating it to me?
Brian.
Brian.
I thought you had to put it after that, after the W. Isn't that what you just said?
You have to
That's
instantiate it. So
So
let's give him the W
okay.
variable.
So, just based on what I'm looking at there is W add underscore 2 underscore numbers
Okay, wait. W
dot.
dot. Okay.
Yes. Add underscore 2 underscore. Yeah. But
And
then,
That's 2 and 5.
okay, so parentheses 2 comma 5
Great. Are we going to see that on the screen?
Not yet.
comma space 5.
It doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's Ruby.
Okay.
Ruby don't
No,
care.
we're not going to see that on the screen until we do a puts underneath the x plus y up in the definition.
No, we don't want it as the part of the method. We want to put the result.
Okay.
Aaron, pick it up from there. On the next line or the previous line?
So this one
Previous.
handles it right underneath. Okay. So right
Puts.
under.
There?
No.
Yeah.
On line 23. 23.
22 or 21.
Oh my God! The side, the side, the side.
22, 21 or 22, it doesn't matter.
I think it's 23.
All right,
Flip coin.
hands up. Let's start voting.
21.
23.
What is puts? Think about it. What is puts?
It's the output.
No, it's not. It's nothing special. Puts is a what?
It's a right. It's basically console right line.
What is it? We have all the
Puts
building
string.
blocks of code. What
It's
is puts?
It's a method.
It's a method. What do you do to methods? You pass them parameters.
Mhm.
So you're passing a parameter to puts, and puts has the side effect of making it pretty on the screen. So how do you pass a parameter to a method? What's the syntax? Method space parameter, or method paren parameter.
Puts this first.
Yes.
Like I raised my hand.
What? I thought you raised your
Is
hand
that
for
where it
21.
Well, 21 would have been 4.
I think it's 20.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Because you
20.
have method, you're passing a parameter to a method. Could I put parens after puts? Could I?
Yes.
Of course you can. It's a method. You don't.
It'll
You don't want to
get
get killed.
Yeah.
Don't want a knife fight.
E x plus y in our actual method at the numbers. So if we were to go back up to, I think it's 15 on yours, if we just did P space X plus Y, we could just do W add two numbers, right? It would automatically put it all together.
You could. So Scott's saying, couldn't we have just done puts inside the method? On the way it's written right now, is that a good or bad idea? Why is it a bad idea? No. Look at what the method name is. The method says, I'm going to add two numbers. It didn't say anything about putting it on the screen. Don't lie to your users. Don't lie to yourself. Add two numbers and put it on the screen would have been an appropriate method name. Add two numbers should just add two numbers.
So you take that away.
The point of this is the last line in a method in Ruby is the return value. Not the last executed line. So if I had an if-else, whichever path it went through, that last thing.
So how would we write it on the screen?
That's what the puts does.
23. You can comment out the rest of that after line 24 and run it.
Let's see. It's up there, right?
There you go. Super simple, but things to take away. Formatting matters in Ruby. Not to the compiler, but to your other Rubyists. The last statement executed in a method will be the return. You can say return, but you should only do so if you need to. And most of the time, you don't need to. And my ulterior motive is remember that for tomorrow.
And Alexa.
Yes.
Why is W the flag?
Help Bethany out. What is W here on line 21? It's an instance of the while class, also known as a variable. It's not declared anywhere because that is how you do it in Ruby. You don't declare anything. It just, you talk about it.
It pops into existence just by being mentioned. Yes, sir.
I know there's a different way, but I don't know if it's right or wrong. Method and then just the method name. Like if you just write method space method name, it will do it because that's what it is. It'll do the method for you, yes. Just like you call a method.
What to call it?
Yeah. So like, just write method space add underscore to underscore numbers, and it calls it.
Yeah, if that works, I don't want to know that it works.